What's going on? It is Q&A time. I am Roy Cannaday, and I am here to answer your questions. So make sure to leave some questions in the comments down below. If you don't know, I do video editing and live production here at the Dice Tower. I run a lot of the live streams and then also edit all of Tom's reviews and do a whole bunch of other stuff. I occasionally do reviews myself. I do part of the Foursquare sometimes when I play the games, and I do other videos and things like that as well. We're going to be doing a top 10 list about thematic games later on this week, so I'm super excited about that. Make sure to prime some questions down below. It's awesome to have everybody here, and let's just get into it. Oh my goodness. Hi all, what's going on? Everybody in the house. People saying crazy stuff. With Roy on camera, do Mike and Chris both have to be on hand to work the controls? So for these Q&As, so yeah, I would love to answer lots of behind the scenes questions as well, because I think that's fun. I don't know how interested people are in behind the scenes stuff at the Dice Tower, like what we use or how things work. But for these Q&A stuff, honestly, we just use our laptops, and everything is kind of like run itself. So like I'm running this stream by myself. We use a program called eCam, and we have a little cam link that runs an HDMI out of the camera and uses it as a webcam coming into the computer, and we have like the intros and all that stuff primed, and it's like super easy for people to run that themselves. Normally, like with our live plays and our like top 10s, when there's a lot more switching going on, or like even crowd surfing and things like that, where we have to switch to other videos, or Board Game Breakfast where we have to switch to other things, that's when somebody else has to be behind the scenes, like running different stuff and switching all the scenes and things like that, and making sure everything's in its place. But yeah, so yeah, I'm running this, but I'm sure you'll see Mike and Chris in the chat trolling me the whole time, as they like to do. Roy, he's our man. If he can't answer your questions, no one can. There goes Chris, already with the trolling. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. Oh man, here we go. Oh man, let's see. What is the most unusual flavor of ice cream you've had or enjoyed? I know when we went to Melody, Tom's oldest daughter's wedding, it was in Tampa, and there was actually a Jenny's ice cream there, and they had a ton of different flavors. I don't know that any of them were super unusual. There was like salted caramel that was really good. Oh, I should actually say, I recently had, I found basically like a ice cream parlor that's kind of like a Hispanic Mexican ice cream parlor here in Homestead, and they have tons of amazing flavors and a lot of stuff that you wouldn't normally see, like guanabana, like breadfruit, and I had like meme ice cream, and it was really good. Like, it tastes delicious. My son got lime ice cream, and my daughter got bubble gum, so they went for like sort of normal flavors. But there was tons of amazing ice cream there, and I'm actually really excited to go back because they had a lot of interesting flavors that you don't normally see, because it was all like homemade and like handmade there. So I was like, man, that would be awesome. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Oh, cool. Let's add this to progress. Hey Roy, I remember you saying you were heavily invested in Mansions of Madness. How did you end up storing everything, tiles, monsters, etc.? The storage for Mansions of Madness is definitely a big endeavor. Funny enough, I went to Goodwill and found a big old case. I'll have to like post pictures. I know there's pictures I've posted of it like on my Instagram and stuff, but it's probably way back. But yeah, I found this big case. I think it was a case for like a telescope, but it's like this big long case, and it was actually pretty wide. And I basically it was all like foam padded and stuff like that, so I put like a couple little dividers in there. I made like dividers out of foam core and kind of glued those in, and I have like a section that has like all these Plano boxes with a bunch of the miniatures in it for the monsters, and the middle section I just have all the big monsters like thrown in together, and then I have a whole section that's just like stacks and stacks of tiles. And this big case holds all of my Mansions of Madness, and I actually got like a vinyl like elder sign decal like you put on a car or something like that, and I put it on the top of the case. So it's like this old rustic looking like telescope case with an elder sign on it that holds all of my Mansions of Madness stuff. It definitely takes up a lot of space, and sadly I think that they're basically done with the game at this point. I don't think they're going to be making any more stuff. I wish they would make more, like, at least, I don't need more content for the game. I would love to have more scenarios. I'd love to have more like DLC. I would auto buy anything you make Fantasy Flight. I'll auto buy any of the Mansions of Madness stuff. But I have it all stored in there, and it's a very unique solution, but it's kind of what I have to go with. What video editing software do you use? So we use Final Cut Pro. For all of our stuff. It just makes things easier because you can easily snap stuff in and out. I used to use Premiere before I came to the Dice Tower, and I use that a lot. The Adobe Suite is awesome, and I still use Photoshop constantly to put things together to add into Final Cut to make our videos. But we use Final Cut for everything, mostly because the ease of, most of our stuff is series, so the ease of like batch making things and the fact that we have these libraries that we can actually share with each other makes it like super simple. Like we'll do like the Summer Spectacular we just did. So like I put together the intro and like put everything, I kind of had an intro from like previous ones, and I worked and made it and like edited it all together. And then I took that intro and gave that library to Chris. So then he was able to take that and be like, okay, now I'm gonna put this is coming up next, or this is the game that's gonna be played next, and change out thumbnails and change out box covers and things like that. So that way we can share libraries back and forth, and we're all using the same software, so that way we can kind of like work to edit a ton of things really quickly. But yeah, so Final Cut Pro. Did you get any new tech for the new studio? How are you liking the new space? I don't know about tech specifically. We move stuff around that's a little bit more like unique. I really like this studio where we had the live streams. We had a TV before like up above everything, and now we have a TV that's right in front on a table that's a lot closer to the guys, so they can actually like just look at the TV and see what's being broadcast out, and then can actually see the comments, because I'll have the comments on the side there as well. So they can like be sitting here, they don't have to have their computers or their tablets out, and they can just look at the TV and be like, oh, they're commenting about this, and kind of react to the live chat a little bit more. I am like hiding behind the TV most of the time, so it's kind of like my own little studio bay back there. We got a new soundboard that we're going to start utilizing to be able to more fine-tune, adjust stuff, but I'm still in the process of switching everything over to that. We did get some boom mics that we use for like the live stuff, and we're still like fine-tuning, adjusting all of that stuff. We put up way more lights than we had before in all the different studios. We tried to do a lot of like stuff to make the acoustics in the room a lot nicer and things like that, but nothing too crazy as far as tech goes. But yeah, I'm definitely enjoying the new studio space. Let's see here. Let's see if I can do this. It says, can we see the rest of the studio with that setup, or is it fixed? So I have the camera here. Let's see. I'm going to randomly do stuff here. So this is kind of like we have everything pointed here. I'll show you guys like back here. Here's the TV I was talking about. That everybody that can see. It's not currently turned on. And then I have a computer back here with this switcher. And then we have a bunch of HDMIs coming in here. And we will kind of like switch things over in between the different camera angles when we're doing a live play. A lot of the stuff isn't turned on right now. But we have a stream deck here, and I'll program a ton of different things to be on the stream deck. And we have our wireless up here that kind of like lets us bring all the microphones in. My microphone's actually going through this right now. And there's our soundboard we're going to be utilizing. And of course, we have everything in like power banks and things like that. And if you want to look, there's like lights hanging from the ceiling over here. And we have a bunch of like acoustic foam and all of that stuff to try to like make things better. I'm sure everybody's getting sick with me spinning the camera around. But that's a little bit of our setup, how it looks in here. Of course, we have the other studios as well. I'm going to try to line this camera up decent enough so that way I don't look terrible when I sit back down. But hopefully I didn't unplug anything while doing that. Hopefully the stream's still going. But yeah, so that's a little bit of behind the scenes. I normally am sitting over there, and everybody's sitting here as we're running the different shows and things like that. But of course I sit here too when we're doing four squares and things like that. I'll just press the record button, run over, sit down, you know, that sort of stuff. Let's see. That was fun. What is your favorite folklore creature or cryptic? Favorite folklore creature. I'm actually really excited for the new, what is it? horrified because it has all of those cool folklore creatures. I think the Mothman is kind of like a really interesting one, and I'm excited that's in the game. They have like Bigfoot and like the Chupacabra and stuff like that. I'm really excited for that version of the game, and it would be really cool to see it with all the cool mythical creatures. The board game Cryptid is one that I still need to play. That's on our like Catch Up Palooza list. I'm really excited about playing that at some point. Yes, a Dice Tower field trip studio or field trip is in order. That would be awesome. That would definitely be awesome. Let's see. What's a good question here? Italian ice, mint. I really like Rocky Road ice cream. That is definitely one of my favorite. Huh. Let's see. What has been the highlight of 2021 for you so far this year? I'm trying to think, do you mean like what game has been the highlight or what thing itself has been the highlight? I don't know. I just try to take it all in at the same time, but I've really enjoyed playing several games. I really enjoyed playing Destinies was really good. I really enjoyed, Sleeping Gods was really good. I really enjoyed Ankh. I played for the first time. I played Kemet. That was a blast playing Kemet with Tom and Chris and Steven. That was a really fun game of Kemet that I enjoyed as well. So I played a lot of really cool games that have come out this year. I know Kemet's old, but this was the Blood and Sand version, which is newer. But yeah, I actually, one of the things I really enjoyed recently is on my Facebook page and like on my Instagram and stuff, we released the cover for my upcoming game, and the reaction to it was kind of like shocking. Like I thought it looked good, and I was excited. And Christian, who's like our art director, Christian Strand, he's doing like art direction and like some graphic design and stuff like that. And we were talking back and forth, and I kind of like gave him a bunch of the files I had for my prototype. And he kind of took a little bit of my concept, but definitely made a lot of stuff his own with the cover, and I think it looks amazing. And a lot of people have been really excited about it, so I'm super stoked by the reaction for it. I like someone on there is like, that's in my top 5 covers of all time, which is just kind of like mind-blowing to me. There's still a lot left to go, so it's definitely going to be a long road for more stuff to come out, but that's definitely been a highlight for me as well, just seeing the reaction, and hopefully like getting to play the game with more people will be even more highlights as well as that goes on. Let's see here. Hello, you've probably had this question before, but you seem to be heavy on thematic games with content and collectability. As a kid, early on in the hobby, what games were you deeply into? So I played a lot of I grew up playing Gamma World with my dad, which is like a role-playing game, so I definitely like a lot of thematic things because I grew up playing RPGs. And I think a lot of people that grew up playing like D&D and RPGs end up like liking a lot more thematic games just because they want to like be the character and do the things that the character's doing and like tell a story as you play the game and have like lasting memories afterwards because that's so strong playing role-playing games and things like that. I also was really interested in a lot of CCGs. I played Redemption, which was a collectible card game, like biblical collectible card game that I played a ton of and like went to tournaments and like won tons of tournaments and things like that, but I played a ton of that. I played Pokemon. I really wanted to play Overpower back in the day, but I never got it. I was super interested in the Middle Earth card game, and I had some friends that had that, but I never ended up playing that. I was really into a lot of that stuff. Right when HeroClix came out, I got super big into HeroClix and ended up playing in like a bunch of little tournaments and things like that for HeroClix as well. So that was another collectible card game, and I love like Marvel. I grew up watching like the X-Men cartoon and things like that. So like I've always like really enjoyed the Marvel stuff. So HeroClix really like stuck with me, and I played a ton of games of that. But yeah, the collectible thing is kind of like as you grow up and as you become more of an adult, it's just like chasing a game and chasing collectible things and trying to keep up with the meta. And then the companies are always like rotating out old stuff so you can't continue to use the same stuff. It just makes it hard to keep up with. So I switched over to board games and haven't looked back just because board games are awesome because you can throw them on the table and basically play them with anybody. Yeah, let's see what's next. Huh. Wow, let's see. So Roy, if you just want to immerse yourself in a space theme, what do you reach for? I actually recently taught Chris and Wendy how to play Zaya. Zaya is a space game that's very like sandboxy. You start with a little ship. You have your own ship, and you get to pick which ship you have, which has a special ability. But you get to pick exactly what upgrades you want on that ship. They're little polyomino shapes that will fit. And any spaces that aren't used up on your ship are used for cargo. And it's kind of a game where you can kind of play the game how you want. Do you want to fly around and explore and flip over exploration tokens and try to like avoid the dangers of space, like try to jump around asteroid fields, or like stay away from the different things that are gonna like suck your energy out of you? There's lots of cool things you can do in the game. Or you can be a merchant, or you can like upgrade your ship with a bunch of guns and start blasting NPCs or blasting the other players. You can kind of play the game the way you want to play it. And it's a very opportunistic game, and it just feels like you're like hopping around space, like you're Cowboy Bebop bounty hunter, or like you're Han and Chewie flying around being able to do different things, or you're like on the Firefly, you know? It gives you that feel of being kind of like a bounty hunter in space and kind of like playing the game the way you want to play it. So I really enjoy that for space, even though the thought of like a drift system for Zaya, where it's like, oh yeah, there's a drift system where like the gravity is unstable and the planets are always in different orientation each time you play the game. I'm like, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Those planets would just fly into the star and just be done. But it's still fun. I love the game. Oh wow. Which do you enjoy more, solo games or co-op games? I definitely am like a gamer that likes to play games with other people. I enjoy the company of playing games with other people, and when it comes to co-op games, I really enjoy the cooperation in between the players. I'm definitely the kind of player that like, when it's my turn in a co-op game, I want to know the input of like the other players, being like, what do you think we should do? How should we plan this out? Like, how should we do that stuff? I know sometimes games that have a lot of that could lead to somebody being like an alpha gamer, but I really like to play the games with people that like want to cooperate, that there's not a certain person that wants to take over everything. Like, you just want to work together to figure out what's the best for the whole party to do. I guess that's another thing, like having grown up playing a ton of role-playing games, it's always like, okay, the DM set this problem in front of us, how are we going to solve it? Oh, there's this puzzle, what do we need to do? A cooperative game feels very much like that, as you're setting out and it's like, okay, well, we got to like take out these the disease in this area, or we got to go over here and fight this monster and do this thing or that thing. I just love how a board game can bring people together to defeat the problem that the game like gives you, and you get to work together to do that. So I definitely like cooperative games more than solo games, but a lot of cooperative games can be played solo, and I do enjoy that as well, but definitely like to play with other people. Wow. 3 favorite movies. So, Could we just say Lord of the Rings trilogy and be done with it, or is that cheating? I really love Lord of the Rings. If I had to pick one of them, it would just be Fellowship of the Ring, because I really enjoy the way it starts. I really love the Mines of Moria stuff. I love Lord of the Rings. I really enjoy Endgame. That's probably like right up there with like my favorite movies of all time. I really, really enjoy a lot of the Marvel stuff, and Endgame was just like the culmination of all of that stuff coming together, and like the callbacks from so many of the other Marvel movies were amazing. What would be my, if I had to pick a completely different movie, what would be my like third? Oh goodness. I don't think about like what my favorite movies are. Normally my go-to answer is just like Lord of the Rings, done. And I don't think a whole lot past that. I really enjoy like the original Matrix movie. I saw that they just had a trailer for Matrix 4. I'm excited about that as well. But the original Matrix, just like without the other movies, forget they exist or whatever. If you just do the original Matrix, that movie is amazing and is really, really good. Let's see. What? No. Have you cooled on Dune Imperium? I think you're saying Dune Imperium, and no, I have not cooled on Dune Imperium at all. I taught my dad how to play it the other day when he came into town. I taught Chris and Wendy how to play it back in the day. I've really enjoyed playing Dune Imperium. I have some cool like upgraded tokens and stuff that I got from buy your own token or whatever that I've been using in my games. I'm really, really excited for the upgrade kit to come out. And that'll be really cool to upgrade all the different parts of the game. But even more than that, there's an expansion coming out for it as well that are going to add a lot of new things and a lot of new cards to be able to build in your deck building experience and a lot of new things to do with the game. So I'm really excited to play even more Dune Imperium. I love the whole Dune universe, and I love the old Dune board game. So I really enjoy the worker placement in the new one and the angst of the area control and like running up the political tracks and things like that. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, definitely not cooled on it. This wasn't part of the plan. I'm guessing that's maybe about me like moving the thing around. Let's see. What is your reaction to the Demon Slayer movie? I'm wearing a Demon Slayer shirt, by the way. Demon Slayer is like an anime about a boy who his sister got turned into a demon, and he's trying to like figure out how to save her while also learning how to slay demons himself. The movie is sad. And if you've watched the movie, you know what I'm talking about. And I thought at a certain point that the movie was making fun of me for being sad about the movie. It was really enjoyable. I liked it a lot. I really like Demon Slayer is kind of like one of those anime that feels a little bit more like gritty. Like it's a little bit more rough. Like it's not an anime that I'd let my kids watch, you know, because there's a lot more violence and a lot more like scary situations and things like that. It reminds me more of like if you've watched Attack on Titan at all, where it's like, oh crap, people die and things happen. That's kind of like Demon Slayer, you know. It's a little bit more in your face. I really enjoyed the movie. It was really good, but I am excited to see more of it. I really need to start reading the manga, but I kind of want to like start from the beginning if I'm going to do that. I keep like looking to find like the actual physical copy of the first manga for the show or for the series, and it keeps being sold out everywhere. I think it's really hot, so good stuff. Question, do you have any Kickstarter projects you're excited for, and which one? Oh man, I know I'm excited for the, what's the dragon one? Is it called like Dragon Flame? I know it's made by Cardboard Alchemy. That one looks super cool. I know it was Tom and Mike's pick of the week. I'm really excited for, I think it's pronounced like Aria or whatever, the game by the same designer, Cody Miller, who did from Far Off Games, who did Zaya. I'm really excited to see that game. It's like his fantasy take on like a game, and I really enjoy how he kind of like adds that flair of like, oh, you have your own character and you can like change out the heads in different ways, and it's all like pre-painted. But I really like the idea of like you have different like weapons and tokens and stuff like that that you put on a board that you can kind of like stow away to save. If it's like super campaign, like you have to play a campaign, it's going to be a lot harder for me to get to the table. So we'll see. I'm really hoping that's really good. Oh goodness. Hey Roy, if you have any recommendations for 1-4X game for someone that has never tried that type of game, what would you recommend? Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, ? Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea is really good. If you don't know what 4X is, it is explore, expand, exploit, exterminate. It's basically like a Civ game where you're trying to like build up your little civilization, but it has a lot of resource management and kind of like normally they have like tech trees or like upgrading of things and stuff like that to try to like upgrade your civilization. And then you're moving out trying to conquer new areas and be able to kind of like take out your opponents in certain games and things like that. The well-known ones are like Twilight Imperium and Eclipse and Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. And then what is it? Rune Wars or whatever is like the fantasy one. I actually haven't played that one. But yeah, I really enjoy Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. One of the main things is like it's quite a bit shorter than some of the other ones, and the downtime feels like it's a lot less because there's the follow mechanic that is in a lot of Scott Alm's games. The fact that someone else takes an action, you can use a worker to kind of like follow that action and do the same thing. So you're kind of always cognizant of what the other players are doing, but it gives you a lot of that 4X feel as you're like moving units out on the board to gather your resources and build that stuff up. That's the stuff that I really enjoy about 4X, is because you get to work and build things up and then utilize that stuff to fight and take over more areas and take out your opponents if need be, or just protecting your areas. I enjoy that as well. So yeah, here's a Land, Air, and Sea. It's a big game. It's an expensive game, so if you have a chance to play it at a Dice Tower retreat or at a convention, or if a friend has a copy of it, make sure to try it out and see if it's something that's for you. It also takes a little bit to put all of the cardboard stuff together, but I really, really still enjoy Here's a Land, Air, and Sea. It's a blast. Let's see. So many things. Do you like horror movies? I feel like I like thriller movies a little bit more than horror movies. I definitely do not like gore and stuff like that in movies, like the Saw movies and things like that. It's like, okay, cool, yeah, it's really gross, you know. But I don't think that it's like something that I seek out. But if it's more of like a thriller movie, like there's suspense in it or like something slightly creepy in it, I enjoy that a lot more than just straight up something you would consider a horror movie where people are getting killed and slashed and things like that. That's not necessarily my jam. Let's see. Lots of people talking about different creatures. Favorite superhero? It might have to be Wolverine. I really like X-Men a lot. And I don't know, just something about Wolverine being the gruff guy that just spazzes out everywhere and all that stuff. I really want to see like a Marvel Cinematic Universe version of Wolverine and see how that goes. I grew up with the X-Men cartoon. I love that. But I love a lot of the different superheroes and all of the different stuff that's coming with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm really excited to see where they continue to go. The Spider-Man trailer just dropped, and it looks so good. Definitely going to see that. I definitely want to see Shang-Chi. I want to see all of it. I've been watching the What If series, and it's been a blast as well. So definitely all about all the superhero stuff. Let's see. I'm just randomly picking questions here, trying to like get random stuff. So sorry if I skip over your question. Just know I'm trying to make things happen. No. Have you ever taken someone else's meepable color just to get under their skin? No, but if somebody else plays green, I might accidentally grab yours because I play green a lot. Let's see. Wow, there's a bunch of different questions. Now people are talking about ice cream still. What is the questions here? Oh, this one's cool. Do you play any 4X space video games? I played a lot of Masters of Orion. I really enjoyed that one. It's like a game where you're going over and colonizing the different planets and building up, using technology to build up your civilization, to build more colony ships, get like better weapons and things like that for your ships, and be able to take out your opponents. I played, not space, but I played a ton of Age of Wonders, which is a fantasy game, but it's like 4X where you're building up all your stuff, gathering resources, but it has a lot of like tactical combat in it as well. So like when you go down to combat, it turns into like grid movement combat where you actually like have to fight and take out stuff. I played a ton of that growing up as well. I really enjoyed it. I think that's one of the main reasons why I love Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea so much, is because I played a ton of Age of Wonders growing up. And me and my friends would do like asynchronous turns on it, where friends would come over to the house, we'd set up like a multiplayer game, and we'd just play through. Like people would play their turn, and then the other people who it wasn't their turn would go off and be doing something else. And it's like, oh, it's your turn next, come in here. And it had like fog of war and all that stuff, so you couldn't see exactly where your opponents were. And then like you could go underground and find like different temples and shrines and get weapons for your heroes. And oh man, definitely a lot of good memories playing that. But I really enjoy a lot of the space stuff. I know there's a lot of newer Space 4X games. I just wish I had more time to play video games. I mostly just do board game stuff for the most part. Oh, I just talked about this. What do you think about the new Spider-Man movie trailer? I love it. I'm super excited. I'm super excited about certain characters that are going to be a main thing in the thing. I'm really excited about where they're going with all of this. It's going to be crazy because it can basically just do anything in Marvel now. The fact that multiverses and like alternate versions of people are a part of Marvel like so hardcore now, they can literally do anything. And as long as the story writing is good, I'm on board. So, yeah. What, Chris? I'm just ignoring that stuff. Do you like deck building games? If yes, what is your favorite one? I really like Marvel Legendary. I played a ton of Marvel Legendary. I have a massive amount of it. It is a cooperative game, so you actually work together, build up. It's semi-cooperative, but I've always played it completely cooperative. But basically, I really enjoy it. I have massive amounts for it. I've played it a ton with a whole bunch of different friends from my game group and things like that. I haven't been playing it as much lately because normally if I'm going to grab a cooperative Marvel game, I'm going to grab Marvel Champions, which is not a deck building game at all. I still really enjoy Dominion, the precursor of deck building games. I enjoy it a lot. I like Clank a ton. It is deck building with like the whole like going down there, press your luck involved. I had a blast. I played Clank Legacy with Tom and Sam, and it was amazing to play. I had a ton of fun playing it. I love the fact that they took Clank, which was a fun game, press your luck game, and added a whole bunch of like story moments and like stuff you could add to the game. If you haven't played Clank Legacy, I don't hear a lot of people talking about it anymore, but it is a fantastic game, especially if you like deck building, if you like those storybook moments that you get from games like Above and Below and Near and Far and things like that. If you love that sort of things in your game, definitely check out Clank Legacy because there's a bunch of that in it, and it's enjoyable because the game kind of like evolves as you go along. But yeah, I'd say my favorite deck building. Man, I'm guessing I have to just go down the list and be like, which is the deck building game? I guess it has to be Dune Imperium. Even though deck building is not the biggest part of that game, it's much more about the area control and stuff for that for me. But a game with the deck building mechanic in it, it would be Dune Imperium. So yes, I still like the game. Let's see. I'm just skipping around. Fellowship of the Ring is the best. Yes, I love Lord of the Rings. Do you read comics? If so, what are some of your favorites? So I had the Marvel Comics app for a while where you can just get comic books, and I was reading a lot of the X-Men stuff, a lot of like Uncanny X-Men and things like that. I actually read a lot more manga, which is like the Japanese comics. I've read through like all of Trigun. I've read through like all of the Naruto stuff. I really enjoy reading that. I've been reading a little bit of One Piece because my son is into that as well. But yeah, I've enjoyed reading a bunch of different comics. I need to catch up on, I was reading Boruto, which is like the second version of Naruto where it has like his son going in and trying to deal with the fact that his dad is the leader of the town and things like that, and the angst that comes with that. And yeah, I read some comics, but not as much as I would like to. I wish I had more time to just relax and read even more. But good stuff. Strange. Lots of different things, lots of different people saying stuff. It's always funny because everything's like very much in a delay. When you're reading these, like, oh, they're talking about this thing. Oh, they're talking this thing. Okay, I guess I'll do this here. I didn't want to answer a ton of questions about this, but can you share any news regarding Last Light? So there's going to be more news coming soon for my game. Last Light is a 4X game that I'm making myself. It is based in space. The main things are it's super fast pace. You can play a 4-player game in like an hour. You can play like an 8-player game in like 2 hours, and that's been proven. And that's been like on Tabletop Simulator, you can play that fast. So in person, with a group that knows the game, you can beast through it. And the game seems like, oh my goodness, it'd be super quick, but the reason it's so quick is because all of the actions are done at the same time. So people are building up at the same time. All the actions are simultaneous, but there's no real-time element. And it has like 3D planets and a rotating board, and there's going to be more information dropping super soon. So as far as news goes and like when the Kickstarter and stuff is happening, it looks like we're probably going to be pushing things back even more. We want to make sure everything is perfect for this. Like we're trying to have like pre-production copies of the game before we actually even go to Kickstarter, because we really want to be able to show off like all the awesome components in the game and show off exactly what everyone is going to be getting. I know a lot of Kickstarters don't do that. They do like 3D renders and this and that, and they just throw it up there and they get their funding and then they do that. Gray Fox Games has a lot of faith in this game, so they want to like put their money where their mouth is and make sure this thing looks amazing and is perfect for everyone. We're trying to like make sure we cross all the T's and dot all the I's, but there's going to be a lot of information coming out super soon, and we're going to be continuing to like push the game and try to get the word out there more. I mean, a lot of people in the board game industry, or a lot of people that know about the Dice Tower, have seen about it and know about it, but there's a lot of people that have no clue what this board game thing is, and we're really trying to reach more and more people with the game, because we're not playing around. We're trying to make things awesome, and I'm so excited to play with people. I'm going to try to have a copy of it, my personal prototype copy that I'm going to be trying to upgrade as more things come out, which I have at the retreat, try to have it at Gen Con, try to have it at different places that I can play after hours when I'm not normally doing like normal work stuff. I'll try to get some games in with people. So there's board game media people that want to reach out to me about trying to schedule a game, let me know. But yeah, I'm definitely super excited. And more news will be coming out. I know that people are excited and they want to back it, and oh yeah, I'm really excited about it too, and I really want you to play it, but we want to make sure it's perfect. But yeah, and that's all I'm going to talk about that. So that way we can talk about other things. Let's see. Ooh, Flamecraft. Flamecraft is the name of the game. Xayah is 4X. No, it's not. Xayah is like a sandbox space game. 4X is a very specific genre which like covers like Civ games. So yes, Xayah has exploring. It doesn't have expanding because you're not expanding a civilization. It doesn't really have, I mean, you're exploiting the different things on the board, but you're not like building up a civilization. And you are fighting, but you're not really exterminating another civilization. Like a 4X game is very much of the an actual Civ game where you're building up a civilization. That's what it's like classified. I mean, it started with video games. It started with Masters of Orion, all that stuff. Xayah is very much like a space exploration game. But it's amazing regardless of whether or not it's 4X, you know. Yes, the cover is very nice. Thanks so much, Loopy. That means a lot. When do we want last light? Last night. Okay. Y'all are hilarious. Let's see. Any good questions here? Give me something interesting. Roy, making things happen Cannaday. I'm trying, Chris. I'm trying. Oh, let's see. What's going on, everybody? Oh, top 3 favorite bands. Oh, man. Well, I have to say, number 1, I'm just going to have to say MXPX, because I have an MXPX tattoo on my leg, and I'm pretty sure if you get a tattoo of a band, it's set. It's done. I love MXPX. I grew up listening to them a ton. I really like the pop punk genre. Other than that, I think I'm really been digging on the Wonder Years a lot. I really enjoy their music. They're kind of like, I keep saying they're newer pop punk, but they're not, because they're now like 10 years old. So you know you're getting old when you talk about this is a new band, and the band is like a decade old and they've been like making music for like forever, and you're like, this is new to me. It's like, no, that's not new. You're wrong. But yeah, I really enjoy the Wonder Years. What else do I really like if I had to pick a next band? There's so many good ones that I like a ton. Once again, once I get to that third one, it's like the first couple are like super easy for me to just throw out there. Then you get to like the third one. I really enjoy like Newfound Glory. It's another just pop punk band. I really enjoy a lot of their stuff. I've enjoyed a lot of their albums, and they've been around for a long time. I enjoy Say Anything a ton. I enjoy Taking Back Sunday and Brand New. Like, I just like that alternative poppy punk genre, you know. But yeah, good stuff. Let's see. What's a good one? I love Clank. What is the best expansion? I have a bunch of the different expansions, and they're all very interesting. I know there's one with like the underwater one was the first one that came out. That one's kind of interesting because it adds like the fact that you can't stay underwater for too long and you have to like get out. There's one with like that adds like the gorilla and has like shifting tiles that kind of turn. The curse one was pretty cool with the mummies, and there's the fact that you can get negative points and you can kind of like take shortcuts and get a whole bunch of more curses, but that's going to end up being negative points for you. I really enjoyed that one a lot just because it adds that whole different element to the game of like trying to like you gain curses and you're trying to get rid of them before the end of the game so your points aren't too negative, but trying to utilize them for different things. I think I'm going to say the mummy one is probably my favorite out of them. That one's really enjoyable. Let's see. Oh wow, lots of people asking the same questions. What's the best fight in One Piece? I wish I had watched enough One Piece to know. I know like it gets epic. I've seen pictures of like Luffy with like all sorts of crazy upgrades. I started watching it with my son. We watched all the stuff through that's on Netflix, which doesn't go very far into the series at all. So we started watching it a little bit on Funimation. So we haven't watched a ton of it, super deep into it. I know all the best fights are probably like way later in the series because that series is, I guess, the longest running like anime out there, and maybe I'm wrong about that, but it's been going on for forever. I would like to watch more of it. I like to see how far it goes, but it's mostly a thing that I watch with my son and enjoy spending time together with him on that. Oh man, Doctor Strange ? I really like Doctor Strange a lot. Alex is in here. Watch out. Oh, is Roy still talking about his latest Euro game? Come on. You know better than that, Alex. You've played it. Oh, wow. Everybody's talking about that. Let's see. Is Root a 4X game? It doesn't really feel... in Root, all the factions are so very different. I don't get the same... You don't have like the resource management like you have in other 4X games. The exploration isn't really there. I mean, I guess there's some tokens you can grab and stuff like that. It does not give me like a 4X feel. It feels like an area control game, like a very asymmetrical area control game, but it doesn't give you that same vibe of 4X. And the fact that some of the factions don't care about like doing combat at all. They're just trying to do their own things to gain victory points. Like the Vagabond isn't like trying to win via combat, you know. The lizard cultists aren't necessarily trying to win like via combat. There's like a whole bunch of different factions that play very different. The game is amazing, but I don't think it really falls under the form factor of what a 4X game is. But it's still great. Yes, other people are agreeing with me before I even said it. Let's see. Pop punk. Yeah. Everybody's mostly just talking. Let's see here. I'm getting to the bottom here. Best CMON game. I think for me it's still going to have to be Blood Rage. I really enjoy the drafting in Blood Rage, like how you grab all of the cards. You're basically like setting up your round for the game, and you're trying to figure out how to draft. I did a ton of like cube draft for Magic the Gathering, and I've played a ton of like drafting style games, and I really enjoy the aspect of Blood Rage where you're trying to set all this stuff out and try to like build together a like combo of stuff before you even really start the game. I mean, you're starting the game by drafting, but it feels like the game starts once you start putting things out on the board and spending your rage. But you're setting up this plan and then trying to execute it on the board. And then you have to pivot. Like any drafting game, you have to be like, okay, this card's not going to come back to me. Which card am I going to grab? I saw this card go around. That means somebody else is probably going to be playing it against me. What are they going to be doing here and there? I need to make sure to grab a strong attack card so I can win a location if I need to. There's a lot of aspects that go into Blood Rage. And just like any other drafting game, like I've played it so much that I know all the cards and I'm kind of tired of drafting the same stuff in Blood Rage. I played Blood Rage a massive amount of times. And I'm really excited for new stuff to come out. I think they've announced that they're going to be coming out with an expansion for Blood Rage and adding more stuff to the game. I just want new things to draft. I mean, new monsters would be cool and stuff like that, but just give me new things and new combos to utilize in the game. That'll be awesome and breathe a ton of new life into it, even though the game itself is still amazing and in my top 10. I love Blood Rage. But yeah, definitely still my favorite CMON game is Blood Rage. I've gotten down to the very bottom. Oh, goodness. What are some gateway 4X games, or would you recommend for people not having a large board game collection? I don't know that it's hard for 4X as a genre to be considered gateway in general, just because it's not just an area control game. It's not just a resource management game. It's not just a combat game. It's a lot of that stuff all put together normally. So it has a lot of different mechanics just all thrown together on most all of the 4X games. Honestly, what I'd say is if you are wanting to play one of those style games, there's so many people that want to play these games because they're big epic games normally, and it's hard for them to get them to the table. Just ask a friend that has Twilight Imperium, or ask a friend that has Eclipse, or ask a friend that has Heroes of Lander and see if you can play their copy of it, or if they could teach it to you, or find someone at a con that's willing to do that sort of thing, so that way you can like jump in. And the fact of you not having to learn the rules from scratch would be like huge. There's a lot of games that can kind of give you a little bit of that feel, and if you're like trying to like learn how to do that stuff, I'd say start with other games that allow you to do resource management as just a thing, or allow you to do the combat stuff as just a thing, or allow you to do a lot more of the area control. There's tons and tons and tons of games that have like that combat and area control in it that 4X games have, and start experiencing those games. A lot more of those can help with the gateway aspect of it. But I don't know that I would recommend any of them as a game to jump into as like, this is my first board game. I'm just getting into board games. Let me jump into a game that has lots of rules. But if you have a really good teacher, it might not be too bad. What game are you most looking forward to at the retreat? Oh, wow, there's so many games. I posted in the retreat group. We have a Dice Tower retreat that people come to. We bring our library. There's tons of massive games. I'm really excited to play some of the more epic games that I really enjoy. I want to play more Ankh. I want to play more... I would actually like to play more Root, just because I've only played it a couple times. I'd really enjoy learning more of the factions. I really want to play Eclipse Second Dawn for the Galaxy. I've played regular Eclipse a ton. I know they didn't change up a ton of it, but the production looks so nice in the new Eclipse. There's so many big games. I would love to bring out some like Battlelore Second Edition. I love that game. I just love teaching a lot of the games that I really enjoy to people. So a lot of those games I would love to get back to the table. But the game that I'm looking forward to playing the most, it's hard for me to pinpoint just one game. But I would really like to play a ton. I am really excited about teaching people Last Light, just because I like seeing people's reaction when it happens, because it's something. Not board game related, but have you picked up any good anime series lately? I watched the first episode of Cowboy Bebop the other day, because Chris was supposed to let me borrow the DVD, and he never did, so I brought it up on Funimation and watched the first episode, and I can already tell that it's something that I'm really gonna like. I've been watching like a little bit of Seven Deadly Sins. I started like Hunter x Hunter, but I haven't like finished that. I've watched a ton of My Hero Academia with my son Scotty. He's really into that, so we've watched a lot of My Hero Academia. Mostly just popular stuff. Like I don't go too hard and be like super niche on anything like that. So it's normally just the normal stuff. What's your favorite anime that you keep coming back to? I mean, my favorite anime is Naruto. I really enjoy that. I really enjoy Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Like, if you haven't seen that, that is an amazing anime. It's definitely really good. One that I keep coming back to, I definitely rewatch certain episodes of Naruto a lot. There's some repeat questions in here. Interesting. Oh, what are some of the best secret identity games besides Werewolf? So my favorite hidden role game is Deception, Murder, and Hong Kong. So it's basically a little bit different because you have one player that's the murderer, and everybody has like these cards in front of them that kind of have like clues and murder weapons. And then there's a player that is the forensic scientist, and they know who the murderer is, and they're putting out different like tokens on different like adjectives to basically try to like lead the other players to who the murderer is. But it makes it very interesting because the murderer gets to choose what the murder weapon and the clue left behind is. So they can kind of like look around the table kind of secretly and be like, okay, a lot of people have a lot of like weapons. It could be like bludgeoning weapons or a lot of weapons that would cause blood loss and things like that. And they can be like, there's a lot of clues that fit this. And they can try to pick things that will help them blend in with the other players. And each person only gets one vote. Each of the investigators only gets one vote to try to guess who it was, what the murder weapon was, and what the clue was. So you can figure out exactly who the murderer is, but if you don't have the correct murder weapon or the correct clue, you're still not going to be able to win the game. It's so fun playing as a forensic scientist. It's so fun playing as the murderer. It's so fun playing as an investigator. I like playing all of the different roles in the game, and I think that's the main reason why it's like my number one, because every single aspect of the game ends up just being really fun. So if you haven't played Deception, Murder in Hong Kong, I mean, I think a lot of people out there regard it as like the best hidden role, like hidden like subterfuge game where someone's lying to the other players. I really enjoyed it a lot. Thoughts on Blink-182? They're highly influential, but are they overrated? I really like Blink-182. I like pop punk stuff. I really enjoy their stuff a lot. I have a lot of their albums. I've listened to their stuff a massive amount of times. Yeah, I definitely love Blink-182. Their stuff's really good. It's fun, you know. It's a little bit edgy here and there, but I really enjoy Blink-182's stuff. And I don't think they're overrated at all. Like, they're great. I've seen them live. They're a lot of fun. Let's see. What is your favorite non-board gaming pastime? So I used to play in bands and things like that. I played bass, I did guitar, I did vocals. A lot of like playing those shows and like actually performing like the live shows are probably some of my favorite pastimes. Like this is always fun. I love like going to a bar and playing a show and like staying up late and like watching all the other bands and interacting with the other bands and things like that, and setting our stuff up on stage and having like a good set in front of everybody and just like getting the energy from the crowd. And then afterwards, like packing everything up in the van and like getting everything ready and like going to dinners and having like late night dinnies, you know, with the band, and then unpacking everything back into our storage building. Like those are like amazing memories that I loved, like going and playing shows at different places. We never did anything big. It was always like local stuff, but those memories are a blast, you know. Just like the whole experience of like doing the band thing a little bit is definitely one of my favorite non-board game pastimes. Let's see. Empires of the Void 2 from Red Raven Games is a more welcoming 4X game. I haven't played it. Like, I really need to play that game because I love most all of his games that he's put out. Like, I love Red Raven, I love Ryan Lockett's stuff, and the fact that this is a 4X game and it's supposed to be more welcoming would be good. I mean, I don't want to be a shill and say, my game's easy to play and easy to get into, but it is. Let's see. Nice. What's going on here? People are now mad at Chris about Roy only brings up Cowboy Bebop during his live chats. Whatever. I see you every day, Chris. Every day. No. Let's see here. Interesting. Your favorite board game memory at the Dice Tower? Man, I really enjoyed playing through Pandemic Legacy Season 0 with Mike, Z, and Tom. That was a ton of fun. Just the cooperation and working together. Like me and Mike, like trying to like figure out how to bounce and how to get back and forth. We ended up getting like special abilities that were kind of complementary towards each other. So we do a lot of like combos together, and like watching Tom like try to do different things in the game and like failing miserably was always a blast. And us being all stressed, being like, "You can do it, Tom, you can do it." Just those moments were just so amazing. I'm in the game, like trying to work together to set everything up and uncovering things. Playing through Pandemic Legacy Season 0, that was definitely a blast. Other than that, there was a time when I wasn't working with the Dice Tower yet. I was still just a contributor, and I went to Gen Con. And I got there, and I was going to be working the booth with the Dice Tower crew, and Tom gave me my badge for Gen Con. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing later on tonight?" And I'm like, "I don't really have any plans or anything." He's like, "You're going to play a game with me." And I was like, "Okay, cool, awesome." So then, like, after everything happened, Tom took me, and we met up with Brian, who was working with Fancy Flight at the time, and they pulled out Twilight Imperium 4, and this was like the Gen Con it was released, and it had just come out. And it wasn't even for sale yet. And I got to play Twilight Imperium 4 with Brian and Tom and Sam. And that was one of like my favorite memories in gaming ever, was being able to play Twilight Imperium with those guys before it was actually even released. And I felt like so like lucky to be in that situation, because Tom knew I liked that style of game. Sam knew that Twilight Imperium was like my favorite game at the time. And it just meant a lot to be able to be there and be like, holy smokes, I'm getting to play Twilight Imperium with the Dice Tower, with representatives from Fantasy Flight. It just was kind of crazy. And now I'm going to be making a game to destroy it. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I love 4X games. Deception is great, says Clara. I agree. I should have brought water. I'm talking too loud and too fast. The Dice Tower should be streamed in front of a live studio audience. Well, Gator Dave, you should come to our live events. Like, we do live top 10s. We're doing a live top 10 at like Gen Con. We do all sorts of different events at many of those things. On our cruise, we do multiple events. Those things are not streamed in front of a live studio audience. It's very technical and hard to do that. But if you want to see us live and have the audience and the crowd there, like I was saying, playing in a band, you get that energy from the crowd. We try to get the energy from the live chat. Oh snap! Mike's bringing me my G Fuel. Anyway, sometimes you need the liquid and the caffeine, making it happen. Let's see. Oh, wow. What is a band that is broken up that you'd love to see reformed, and why? Are you allowed to pick ones where like people are no longer alive, Mike? Like, can I just pick any band? Can I like go see Queen? Like, bring Freddie Mercury back to life and go see Queen? That would be amazing. Like, reform the band with necromancy, you know? But yeah, I'm not 100% sure. It's kind of crazy. Some of my favorite bands that have been around forever are still together. Like MXPX still plays live shows, and they do like streaming shows and things like that. And they've been around since they were like 14, you know? So it's been kind of crazy. But yeah, if I could bring people back to life, I'd say I'd go see Queen and see Bohemian Rhapsody and Don't Stop Me Now and Radio Gaga. It'd be awesome. Let's see here. What? Empires of the Void 2 is Ryan Lockett's favorite game and the best art? Kabuki Kid, why are you holding out on me? I need to make this happen. I have to play that game now. Oh my goodness. Mike agrees that we were wrecking shop in Pandemic Legacy. It was a lot of fun. We're like, go here, do that, do this, that turn. Me and Mike are very much like, when we're playing a co-op game, it's like cooperation. Let's talk through it and let's cooperate. And I think Tom and Z are very much opposed to like alpha gamer stuff. So they're very much like, I'm going to do this thing. Z can be like, okay, you need this card? I'll get you this card. I'm going to make that card happen. Tom's like, I'm doing my thing. And you just kind of have to, that's a factor you have to take in when you're playing a cooperative game. But it makes for an interesting dynamic and it makes for a lot of fun. Let's see. Best board game developer. I don't really know. I wish it was more apparent, like who the specific developers are for different games. Like I know Josh from Grey Fox is going to be working and developing Last Light with me. I know that there's been like interesting stuff. I know there's a lot of development done on like Dune Imperium. I think like one of the like professional Magic players like Luis Scott Vargas helped with Dune Imperium development and stuff like that. There's a lot of interesting developers out there, and I feel like developers are kind of like the unsung heroes in a lot of ways for board games, because they definitely can take a game that's like a concept. And I've like worked in playtesting. I help playtest with like Dice Masters and things like that. And you see the condition that sometimes these games come in, and that the developer has to like hone to a shine and make like take off all the rough edges. Development is extremely important and can take a good game that's kind of fun but clunky and take all the clunkiness out of it and just make it like a great game. So like good development is very important, and I wish that I knew like more developers' names or like knew like the superstars in developing. It's kind of like not necessarily transparent who, like how much role the developer plays in a specific game. Like, did the designer bring it pretty much done? Did the designer bring it where it needed a lot of work? You know, there can be a lot of different situations. Nick says he is almost out of G Fuel. Listen, during a lot of these holidays, they do sales. I'm waiting for what's coming up, Labor Day. Maybe they had like a 4th of July sale. I ended up getting a whole bunch of G Fuel's vitamin-filled energy drink that it's productivity juice, basically. Let's see. Oh wow, how long is Sleeping Gods to play? As long as you want. Basically, it could just never end if you didn't want it to. But yeah, basically you just pack it up whenever you're done. I mean, that game is really long if you're trying to play through and get all the totems and go through all the stuff. There is a certain timer because the event deck, once it goes through 3 times, that's the end of your campaign. But that could take a long time to happen. I mean, that's a certain number of turns, but that just keeps going. But yeah, and once you're done playing that, you could immediately put the game back out and start playing it again, and go a different direction and start exploring and finding different totems. Definitely super awesome. I love Sleeping Gods, and I'm excited to see even more about that. Queen, Zombie Queen, yes. There you go. Let's see. Do you and Mike ever argue about punk since he's into all the American hardcore bands? No, we don't argue about stuff. Like, I know that Kenny and Mike definitely like more like actual punk music. They probably think, oh, Roy, he's just a poser. I always pretend. Like, I was in Kenny's car once, and I was playing some ska, and he wasn't a fan. He's like, trumpets in punk music? He didn't really get mad or upset, but I could tell that he was like, what is this? But yeah, I like the upbeat stuff. I like stuff. I know everybody else likes more of the gritty stuff. I do like a lot of hardcore stuff where it's just straight up like metal and screaming as well. But I haven't been listening to as much of that recently. I like a lot of post-hardcore stuff where it's singing and screaming. But yeah, Mike and Kenny are definitely into the old school, like the roots. They listen to like the roots of the music that I listen to. So it's kind of funny. But there's also a little bit of an age difference there. They're all super young. Oh my goodness. How many people are just going to ask if there's news on Last Light? There will be news. There will be more stuff coming out. I'm super excited about the game. I'm glad that you're excited about it too. It's going to be awesome. Let's see. I'm not sure what I even said. Oh, people are talking about their work. Um, Interesting, interesting. Do you find it intimidating to be around Mike? In what way? Like, I'm so confused why it would be intimidating to be around Mike. I've known Mike for quite a while. I mean, we used to both work in the booth together, like during cons before either of us worked for the Dice Tower. So it's kind of crazy. And then I ended up getting a job here being an editor. And I remember being at Gen Con, like talking to Mike about how much like the Dice Tower is awesome in this, and it's awesome to have contributors, and how like we're a community, and Mike was like super on that. And I didn't even realize like literally a few months later he was going to be here working beside me, and I was going to be like training him on how to like do all the different things and stuff like that. And it's definitely been a blast. Like I love working with Mike, and we have a lot of similar taste in like big games that like look really cool on the table, so I enjoy that. And we're just friends. It's cool. Oh, I mean, because Mike is so handsome. Yeah, it's something we all have to struggle with here in the studio. You know, just not being able to compete in the looks department with Mike DeLisio, but he's got that sheen and the mealiness that you really need to be a distinguished gentleman. Or an apple, whatever. Ska for the win! I know. I still really enjoy like Five Iron Frenzy. I like backed their Kickstarter. They still put out ska music. I backed like their last couple albums, but they've been around for forever. I remember seeing them at like festivals like forever back in the day. That was one of the first pits for a show I was ever in, like in the actual pit, like doing the moshing and skanking or whatever you do to ska music. But yeah, punk metal. We got started talking about music, I guess. Oh man. Let's see. Oh, did you have the chance to play the loop? What did you think? Did we play that live? I thought we played the loop live. I think there's a video of me, Tom, and Mike playing the loop live. I really enjoyed the loop. I thought it was great. Oh, it's behind me. It's a lot of fun. I just like the fact of like, it's a cooperative game. I really enjoy cooperative games, and you're working together and you're trying to set things up. The cube tower makes a whole interesting aspect of like, there's going to be this stuff coming out on the board that you're trying to mitigate, but it's going to come out kind of randomly, and you're not really sure exactly which section it's going to come in. So you have to make sure all of those sections are cleared out, so that way you're not going to push things over and have this section get destroyed. I love the idea of comboing the cards together and being able to use the energy to like redo them over multiple times and trying to figure out how to build up that combo. Yeah, I really enjoyed the loop a lot, and it's not that hard of a game to get into, I don't think. And the fact that it's cooperative makes it a lot of fun. Let's see. Inside jokes abound. Let's see. I love the original No Doubt, the ska version of them. Yeah, old No Doubt is actually really good. I always hate like so many bands, like they change their sound. It just seems strange to me. Like, why would you start as like one thing and then you build an audience and get really big and then change up like your sound? I mean, I know they probably get tired of playing the same kind of music, but then they're going to like lose their old fans. I mean, I guess they gain new fans, but people are fans of your music because they like the genre that you're in. If you change genres, then, you know, it's not going to be the same thing. I wonder what else I should ask. Ask questions! I keep like skipping so many. I'm just going to go back and ask a random question like from forever ago, or answer a random question. Oh, wow. Roy, do you have a favorite small one-deck card game? I know it's kind of crazy. I still really enjoy Love Letter a lot. Like, I know it's a simple game. It's 16 cards, but I got that game when it first came out. Like, I think I might have gotten a copy from, I had a friend who helped like run game groups and stuff in the area, and he like demoed for AEG a bunch. And he got a copy of Love Letter before it had actually even really been like released. and he actually put it in our like Dirty Santa thing in our game group that we had. So it was like this love letter game that was passing around, and nobody really knew what it was. But I ended up getting a copy of it because I had actually played it a little bit. Like, he had let me play it, and I'm like, I know that game's good. Like, I want to win that in the Dirty Santa. I ended up being like the third person to steal it, so I was able to keep it. While everybody else was getting these big box games and things like that, I got this little package of love letter, and I couldn't have been more happy just because I played it over and over again. I took it to work. I played it a massive amount of times. I played it with a ton of people that are not gamers. I feel like several people from my game group, I kind of got into gaming through love letter just because it's such a... It's not like a game that's hard to get into or hard to understand, and the choices are kind of interesting. Like, you're trying to guess and like be a little bit subterfuge, and it's crazy what they did with just 16 cards. And I still enjoy playing it. I really enjoy it's a completely different game. I enjoyed the Marvel version as well. It feels very different, but the classic love letter, whatever version you want to play, is a lot of fun. And I'll just say that for a little tiny one deck game, even though I'm sure you're expecting something a little bit more grandiose. Let's go back down to the bottom, just so that way I can have current questions. Scroll. But yeah, let's see if some things have come in. Everybody's just talking about music. That's why I don't have any questions. Everybody's just talking about music. Let's see. Huh. Everybody's just talking. Everybody's just talking. Oh, everybody's saying that's about the money for when bands change. I guess so, maybe. They sell out, but it's all good. Wow. Oh, how much weight did you lose and how did you do it? I know I get a bunch of comments on this still. Like, whenever we have a big video and somebody hasn't seen me in a video for a while, they're like, holy smokes, what happened to Roy? Is he dying? I'm not dying. I purposely lost weight. I've been trying to be a lot more healthy in what I'm eating. That was one of the main things. So when I first started, I started walking and exercising a lot more. Like, I just started walking laps around my neighborhood and getting lots more steps in and just exercising a lot more. Then I switched over to kind of doing like the keto thing a little bit. I basically took all the Atkins keto. I took all the sugar and carbs out of my diet for the most part, and I just did like meats and things like that for a little while, and kind of like switched my body into a mode where it was like burning fat. I know this is probably boring for people who don't care. But yeah, and I just continued at it. I mean, it's just hard work and continuing to like be more cognizant of what I'm eating. I mean, I used to just go hard and like eat all the things, you know? And I mean, when you do that, you gain weight, especially when you have a job where you sit in a seat editing on the computer and like you get home, and I feel like sugar and carbs just end up making me more tired, so then I don't feel like exercising and things like that. So yeah, probably not very healthy. I ate meat and drank energy drinks and took daily vitamins and walked a ton. That's how I lost weight. How much did I lose? When I started, I was at 245. Now, I was on the scale like yesterday. I was 156. You tell me how much that is. That's not a small number. Holy smokes. Oh, anyway, I don't really track like the numbers. I just kind of try to eat less and be more active, and it feels great. Like, eating less makes you feel better, strangely, after you get out of the sugar and carbs and stuff like that. But I'm not really still doing the keto thing. I just kind of eat whatever, just try to eat less of it. Wow. Oh, that changed the whole thing. What is your favorite game designer? Then changing it up, especially for kids or a younger audience. I'm going to have to say, with that caveat in there, it's definitely going to be Jerry Hawthorne. He made Mice and Mystics and Stuffed Fables and things like that. I think he has other games coming out that are going to be very like kid-centric. So those games are really fun to play with your little ones. He designed these games based off the fact that he was trying to teach his daughter how to read. So there's like a lot of story elements in the game. But yeah, if you're talking about favorite designer who designs like stuff for kids, I really like Jerry Hawthorne's stuff. It's really awesome. And I think he has more stuff coming on the way. So I'm excited about that. Roy, what are your plans for the rest of the day? So, I still have a lot of videos to upload. I've been editing a massive amount of videos. Tom and Z are out of the office at the Gathering of Friends, so we've been very much just like nose to the grindstone getting stuff done. We're trying to prep for having videos to still go up for you during the retreat week and having videos to still go up for you during Gen Con week, because we don't want to have any like lapse of like content coming out for you. So I've been grinding, getting all of that stuff out and ready for everybody to watch, which is going to be super awesome. But I've been like making a ton of headway for that. So uploading some of that stuff. I have like some shelf review things that are going to be uploaded and a bunch of reviews that are going to go up those weeks that are going to be uploaded. After work, we have game day here at the studio, so I'm going to be playing games with people maybe a little bit. I might not stay too late. I've been doing, I know it sounds funny, but I've been doing a little bit of DoorDash here and there to like earn a little bit of extra income. So I've been DoorDashing around. That's actually been kind of fun. It actually can work out pretty good down here in Miami and Homestead for the amount you can get. I know it puts wear and tear on your car, but you can like write off the mileage and things like that. So I've been doing some DoorDash to try to like save a little bit here and there and make a little bit of extra income. So I might do that. I like to do DoorDash late at night just because it's more chill and I get to be customer service, which is kind of strange. When I do that, I kind of miss being able to do that. I like working with people and being nice and smiling and being like, oh, have a great day, that sort of thing. I don't really like when Mike leaves each day, I'm not like, Mike, have a great day. I hope you have a good one. You know, it's not really the same thing, but it's cool. So I've been doing a little bit of that. So I might do that tonight. Oh wow, what is your current favorite? What is your kid's current favorite game to play? Scotty actually has really been trying to play more Marvel Champions with me, which is kind of crazy. Because that game is complex and a lot of stuff going on, but it's cooperative, so it means we can work together. I really like playing Marvel United with them. I know Violet really likes Marvel United a lot. She requested to play it the other day. She's like, let's play Marvel United. So we played that. She still likes games that we played when she was growing up. She still likes to play like Go Away Monster and things like that we played like forever ago. It's so hilarious because the other day she asked me, she's like, Dad, when are you going to do a review of Go Away Monster? And I'm like, I did a review of Go Away Monster and you were in it. So I pulled up the video and showed her a version of her from like 4 years ago, being like, this is you in this video. And it was like, holy smokes. It's just cute to see like the fact that this game we played when she was 2 years old, we're still playing it when she's like 7 years old, was very fun. And I actually made like a little time-lapse video on my Facebook of like her playing it when she's 2 and her playing it when she's 6. She was 6 at the time that I made it. So like 4 years difference in between. I guess now I'm going to have to make another video of her playing it in the future when she's even older. But yeah. Roy, thanks so much for your enthusiasm and all that you do for the board game community. I mean, I don't know what I do, but I edit Tom's videos, so you get to watch those, so that's cool. But yeah, I just try to be me, you know, try to have a good time, try to make sure other people are having a good time. Let's see. What are some of these? Oh, wow. What is the furthest you have ever run? I don't know how good I am at running. I may have said I run around my neighborhood. I mostly just walked around my neighborhood, or I sprint a little bit to like get my heart rate up, and then I continue to walk from there. I'm not really like, I haven't like run a ton, because if you run too much, then your AirPods fall out, and then you no longer have music. But nah, I've definitely walked quite a ways before. Or like jogged quite a ways. But I don't know how much like straight up running I do. But I would get back in. I'd get back in from walking around. Like I'd walk around and talk on the phone and listen to music and just walk around the neighborhood. And I'd look at my watch when I'm done. And I'm like, oh, I did 4 miles. That's pretty crazy, you know. Especially when it's just like staying in my neighborhood. But I've walked like around, like when I was in North Carolina, I used to walk around the lake that we had there, and that was like 8 miles, things like that. But it wasn't normally sprinting or running. It was just walking. Chris, I think your math is wrong on the weight loss there. I'm just going to say. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. We're way into time here. We're way into time. I just have fun talking with you guys. Y'all are all awesome. It's a blast. I guess I'll get back to work saying that you're like, hey, what are you going to do next? I got to go get videos uploaded. So I had a lot of fun with everybody. Thanks, everybody, for checking out my Q&A. Make sure to check out the other stuff we have coming up on the channel this week. I know Chris and Mike are going to be doing board game breakfast. That's going to be super awesome. We're going to have a top 10 list about games that just really nail their theme and that feel super thematic. I'm super excited about doing that list with Chris and Mike as well. And then, of course, Favorite Game Friday going up on Friday, and other videos and reviews from everybody all around the channel. Make sure to check all of that stuff out. But it's been a blast having everybody on here. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks for the support. Y'all are all amazing. And I'll see everybody next time. Peace.